What is a BID law? BID stands for Business Improvement District. And what it is it's a contract between the city and privately owned businesses. And it allows the city to borrow money for improvements in certain areas and districts in town to basically improve the area and promote the area to spur economic growth. And what they do is they let the city borrow money to make the improvements, and then they assess the privately owned property, business property in the area once a year for 5 years and pass along like 30% of the cost of those improvements to these businesses on their property tax every year. And to establish a business improvement district, what the city needs to do is propose an area for improvement and then write a petition of resolution stating the improvements that they're going to make in that area. And then they need to mail all the businesses in the area that are going to be affected by this and put notices in all the local papers that they want to do this. And then they have to hold a public hearing. And as long as the majority of the businesses don't protest this, then it's established and they appoint an advisory board. And under these laws, the city then can, like I said, pass along the cost of the improvements to the businesses in the form of their property being assessed and it tacked onto their property taxes. But only for 5 years. After 5 years, they can't assess the property and continue to build them. The city's also limited to making only the improvements they stated in their resolution of intention. So they can't go beyond the scope of what they had stated they were going to do to improve the area and promote it. And of course, under the BID laws, residentially zoned property would not be assessed, and neither would any property zoned for agriculture. So basically, it's only commercial space that would have the cost levied against them. Now that you know what business improvement districts laws are, I want to explain to you what the city of Santa Rosa has just done to get around those laws. So what they did was they added an article to their city code enabling them to establish something called community benefits districts. And what it is an alternative to business improvement districts. And in their paperwork for this, they use a lot of tricky language and stuff, but it essentially boils down to this. The city can now establish community benefits districts, and then they can borrow money to make improvements in the area, just like the BID, except they don't have to give you public notice. They don't have to hold a public hearing. And as long as 30% of the weighted property owners, which means as long as somebody owns 30% of the property in that area, that person can propose it become a community benefit district, and then it becomes one automatically. And since the city, and like I was saying, since the city is a property owner as well, they're going to own 30% of the property in any given area. So all they have to do is write up a petition and approve it by themselves. They don't have to deliver like a resolution of intention of what improvements they're going to make. Not only that, under community benefit districts, residential and agriculturally zoned parcels are included in the assessments. Not only are they included in it, but now they are not limited to 5 years of assessments. They can assess the property in perpetuity, they say. So basically forever. And because they're financing all the improvements, they're passing along the freaking interest on these loans they're taking out for the improvements and passing all of it along to the people. So if you own a house in one of these community benefits districts, your property tax is going to go up forever. And it could go up by a ton of money. I mean, the city could decide to spend $100 million in that area, borrow that money, and then pass along the cost to everybody in the area, regardless. And what this is going to amount to over time is them basically stealing your home. Eventually, you're not going to be able to pay these enormous fees levied against your property, and they will just take your home. It's a way for the city to land grab all the property within the city. And granted, maybe the first 5 years you might be able to pay those sums, but if they decide to spend, and they will because they want those loans, they'll just keep taking out loans and passing along the cost till the individual property owner can no longer afford to pay it, and then they steal your home. It's sickening. It's totally Agenda 21 driven, and it's gonna start happening soon. They just added that to the city charter. So anybody right now in Santa Rosa, the business district or the community benefit district, the first one they established is around Courthouse Square, up Sonoma Avenue, over on E Street to like Morgan Street. So basically, if you own a home on Sonoma Avenue or in the E Street area, you are going to start getting huge property tax bills. And eventually, they're going to take your home. It's bullshit, and it's sickening.